Hey yo, what's up dudes? It's Lewis. So this is kind of a different video. Well, not really, but today I'm redrawing old art. Woohoo! And we're trying out voiceovers. I have to figure out what I'm gonna say for the next 6 minutes on the fly. So I'm basically commentating over this drawing right now. This is a character that I once had back in 2015. Her name is Erica Colson, and this version of her, this is the very first version I think I made of her, so she's just like a generic character with really no personality or purpose whatsoever other than just to look attractive, pretty much. Before I continue on, if I sound hella depressed and tired, well, I'm tired. I was at a tournament earlier today, and let's just say things got very heated. But now I'm here recording this voiceover while watching this. This is very relaxing, honestly. So where was I? Yeah. So this original version of her has no true purpose or backstory other than just to be an attractive character who you look at and you're like, oh hey, that's a pretty hot shark. She's a blue shark, specifically. I had to look that up myself because her original color name was blue and white, and those actually exist. I thought they didn't for whatever reason at the time. So, yeah, so no purpose really at this point in time, but then eventually, I think in 2016 when I was redrawing old characters again, I gave her a purpose. She served as as a waitress, or not a waitress, a chef at like one of her city's most popular restaurants. I forget what it was called. Like the Shark Cage. That's what it was called, the Shark Cage. It was a pretty cool little story. Me and one of my friends thought up of. It was quite nice to read, quite nice to work on. So this redraw of her is basically me trying to make sure that or trying to just see how much I've improved. So I'll put the picture of what her original image looked like right now on screen. If you're watching right now, thank you so much for sticking through to 3 minutes in. But yeah, so that's what she originally looked like, and this is like the newer version. Now, obviously, I've gotten like astronomically better at proportions and composition, color theory, shading. I've gotten better at a lot of things over the years, and like I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I've been trying out so many different experimental things recently, and so this is just like a really good way for me to test myself. So let's say, for example, like the use of more black in the shading, where it's like completely dark. So I was trying to go for more of a comic book-esque style with this. I think it looked, it was like merging that with like cell shading and as well as outlining the shade with a slightly darker line. So, you know, I was pretty happy with that. I think the one challenge for me in this was trying to decide how to shade the face. I can shade almost every other part of the body, but the face, because it has so much like various like ridges and valleys and stuff, I can't do that all too well. So I'm still working on that. That's like the one thing I need to learn how. So I kind of just lazily shaded it. And I'm shading her ears right now in this. So, sorry, I'm like doing this without any script. I think the other difficult part was shading her main torso, where the white parts of her, what do you call them? Scales? Yeah, scales. That's what they're called. My God, I do not remember anything from like biology or just reading about fish in general. I read about fish a lot when I was a kid. But yeah, so that was the more difficult part because it was, what do I shade with in terms of shading on white? Do I shade with gray, or I shade with like a, what do I call it, a dark blue? That's why I ended up doing shading with a darker blue, and then going in with like a, I don't know, I forgot what the tool's called. I think it's a marker tool, and changing things in. The eyes, however, they were an interesting thing. Eyes are never something I really got down if they're like not just a pure black thing, because especially when her eyes are this big, and I wanted them to be not so detailed that it takes away from the rest of the aesthetic, but detailed enough that it looks correct, and that happens. As you just saw there, like her stomach looks a lot more, oh, like a stomach. You got that nice roundedness to it. I think it looks a bit out of place though with the more simplistic shading of the rest of the pic, but then again, I blend cell shading with like a bit of airbrushing and gradients, mainly just to add a bit more transition between shading and actual base color. So like later on you'll see me add a bunch of airbrushing to the pants. So right about here, yeah, there you go, I added in a bit of a darker shade with the marker tool, and then I airbrushed in some of that, and then try to highlight it with color dodge and a bit of yellow. Color dodge is one of the things I really like using. And then I think the last bit here is where I reshade her eyes or add a bit more detail using the darker green that I used for her pupils, blend that in, and then right after this I think I move on into the hair. I tried shading the hair properly, well, quote unquote properly, but then I ended up just doing gradients. It turned out looking pretty decent, and then run it into Photoshop. And after that, this next image right here, this is the final result. Well, you're not seeing it yet. There you go. There you go. There's the final result. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.